Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Monkeypox in Michigan. The state announces its first probable case of the virus, and it's here in Metro Detroit. We're hearing from the experts about the symptoms and who is at most risk.
But we begin with former Governor Rick Snyder, just hours away from appearing in federal court for the Flint water crisis. Snyder is expected to plead the Fifth in the morning.
His appearance comes as the criminal case against him has hit a brick wall. We reported that yesterday, but tomorrow it's the civil case, and that is moving forward. Mara McDonald live in Ann Arbor tonight. Mara, that's where this hearing is going to happen, and something rather rare will happen tomorrow in that courtroom.
Devin, that's right. You know, people are actually going to be able to see the governor, testify here in court in person. Here's the thing. Normally, when we cover a federal court case, our cameras are not allowed in. We have no way to record the audio. The best you get is usually a sketch artist. In this case, the judge has decided she's going to stream what happens in court. The criminal cases in the Flint water probe got crushed this week. There's just no other way to say it. After the Michigan Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, said the indictments against top officials like Rick Snyder are invalid.
Because of the way things have gone, we have gotten slapped in the face and kicked in the behind since this whole thing started, and it continues to happen for this community.
But that doesn't mean the civil cases are over. Thursday morning, former Governor Rick Snyder is expected to appear in federal court in Ann Arbor. This is a civil case. Attorneys for 4 children are suing 2 engineering companies. Both did consulting work for Flint on water. Snyder is expected to appear in court and invoke the Fifth Amendment against providing live testimony. Jurors will instead then hear the videotape deposition he's already done. Tomorrow's proceedings are known as a bellwether trial, meaning it's essentially a test case when you have the potential of thousands of individual plaintiffs. Back here live. Now, you will remember that there's already been a massive settlement in the Flint water crisis, a massive civil settlement, easily more than $600 million. This is a separate civil case because those 2 engineering firms that are at the heart of this one, they did not participate in that settlement. We're live in Ann Arbor tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
A fascinating day ahead. We will be covering it for you then. All right, Mara.
And new tonight, Michigan announces its first probable case of monkeypox, and it's here in Metro Detroit. The state says a person living in Oakland County has likely tested positive and is in isolation. Pamela Osborne is live at the Oakland County Health Department. And Pam, doctors say this is no reason to panic.
Right. So health officials here in Oakland County are saying that there is no big risk to the general public here, but there are some things we should be aware of when it comes to monkeypox. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge says it's really no surprise that there's a probable case of monkeypox being reported in the state.
More than half of the United States have reported at least one case, with several states reporting over 24 cases.
Right now, the CDC is testing to confirm monkeypox in a resident of Oakland County. That person is currently isolating, and health officials say that person does not pose a threat to the public.
The virus can spread from person to person through direct contact with infectious rash, scabs, or body fluids, respiratory secretions during prolonged face-to-face contact.
That's Calandra Green with the Oakland County Health Department. While the risk of contracting monkeypox is low, she says these are the symptoms we should be looking out for.
Fever, headache, muscle ache, backaches, swollen lymph nodes, chills, exhaustion, and really important, a rash that looks like pimples or blisters that appear on the face, can be inside the mouth, on our other parts of the body, like the hands, the feet. In terms of treatment and vaccination, there are no treatments specifically for monkeypox.
There is a vaccine, but right now the CDC does not recommend mass vaccination against monkeypox. That, of course, could change depending on the individual case and if a person did come into contact with someone who later tested positive for the virus. Reporting live tonight in Oakland County, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Okay, Pam, thanks.
Parents of a student hurt in the Oxford High School shooting are now suing the gun shop that sold the gun used to kill 4 students and wound 6 others.
The complaint, filed on behalf of Matthew and Mary Mueller, accuses Acme Shooting Goods of a straw sale. That's when someone buys a gun with the intent to give it to someone who cannot legally have one. Police say James Crumbly bought the gun as an early Christmas present for his son. The complaint alleges Ethan Crumbly went with his dad to the store and employees should have known it was intended for the teen. The gun shop refused to comment today.
Former Macomb County Prosecutor Eric Smith is expected to begin a federal prison sentence tomorrow. Smith pleaded guilty last year to stealing from his campaign fund. He has yet to reach a plea deal in a separate state case in which he's accused of embezzling money from drug and forfeiture funds. But Smith was sentenced to 1 year and 9 months in the federal case. It starts tomorrow. An update now to a horrific murder case out of Warren. The man convicted of executing a 6-year-old boy and 2 adults is going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Nicholas Bari shot and killed 6-year-old Tyroz Moore and Isis Rimson execution style in a Warren home back in 2020. The boy's father was found burned to death in a car in Detroit. Today, Bari was sentenced to life in prison without parole. A driver speeds away from a traffic stop in Greektown, injuring police officers and taking down a light pole. It happened Monday between Monroe and Beaubien when police stopped a man driving a 3-wheeler for riding on the sidewalk. They say he seemed to be cooperating, but then sped off, dragging 2 officers. The driver then knocked over a bolted down trash can and light pole.
Those things are that powerful. He knocked the light pole down.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, the actions were of this defendant. He made the determination to flee from that stop. He made the determination that resulted in 2 officers being injured.
Police say the driver was arrested and will likely face felony charges.
When you wake up tomorrow, a group of workers at several GM plants may be striking if a contract deal isn't reached between the automaker and the UAW. They are subsystems employees whose jobs help the assembly process. A strike could impact the Orion assembly plant and plants in Flint and Lansing. General Motors tells us negotiations are ongoing, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Organizers of an abortion ballot proposal say they have hit their signature goal. The proposal would amend the state constitution to give women the right to get an abortion in Michigan. Reproductive Freedom for All, the group behind the push, says it has gathered the 425,000 signatures needed ahead of the July 11th deadline. Abortion is still legal in Michigan right now as the courts work through a lawsuit against the state's 1931 abortion ban.
Tomorrow, history is going to be made on the Supreme Court. The first black female justice will be sworn in.
Ketanji Brown Jackson will become the court's 116th justice tomorrow at noon. It will happen just as the man she's replacing, Justice Stephen Breyer, retires. Breyer spent nearly 28 years on the High Court. Jackson is joining 3 other women on the court, making it the first time 4 women will serve together.